Nestled deep in the eerie woods, the picturesque Airbnb retreat seemed like the perfect escape. But little did they know the sinister secrets it held, waiting to unleash an unspeakable horror. In search of solace and adventure, Sarah and her friends decided to book a remote cabin on Airbnb. The wooden cottage, nestled amidst a dense forest, looked like something straight out of a fairy tale. Its rustic charm, coupled with the promise of seclusion and tranquility, was too tempting to resist. As they arrived at the cabin, they were mesmerized by its quaint beauty and breathtaking surroundings. However, as the night fell, an inexplicable unease settled over the group. Creaking floorboards echoed through the house, and shadows danced ominously on the walls, seemingly with a life of their own. Unnerving whispers filled the air, sending shivers down their spines. One by one, Sarah's friends vanished without a trace, leaving her paralyzed with fear. Suspecting something malevolent at play, Sarah decided to explore the cabin. In the attic, she stumbled upon an ancient, weathered diary hidden beneath the floorboards. The diary belonged to a past occupant named Emily, who had mysteriously disappeared from the cabin decades ago. The chilling entries detailed how the cabin was cursed, and its walls were tainted with the blood of innocent souls. As the night wore on, Sarah learned that the cabin itself was an entity, feeding on the fear and despair of its guests to sustain its wicked existence. With each passing moment, the malevolence grew stronger, its intention to claim more lives evident. Terror-stricken yet determined, Sarah had to act quickly to break the curse. She followed the diary's instructions, hoping to reverse the dark spell before it was too late. However, the dark force wasn't going to let its prey escape so easily. A bone-chilling showdown ensued, with the cabin's malevolence unleashing its full fury upon Sarah. In a pulse-pounding climax, Sarah managed to vanquish the sinister spirit, but not without paying a terrible price. As the sun rose over the horizon, Sarah emerged from the cabin, the sole survivor of the horrifying ordeal, but the memories of that night would forever haunt her. A constant reminder of the malevolent Airbnb retreat that claimed the lives of her friends. Story 2. The Sinister Superhost. Their dream vacation turned into a living nightmare when they discovered the host's dark obsession with his guests at the seemingly perfect Airbnb, concealing a sinister secret that could plunge them into the depths of terror. When Mark and Lisa arrived at the luxurious Airbnb villa in a charming coastal town, they were enthralled. The host, Mr. Sinclair, was welcoming and accommodating, showing them around the beautiful property with a smile. Everything seemed perfect until they noticed peculiar photographs on the walls featuring previous guests with haunting expressions of fear and despair. As the days passed, Mark and Lisa started experiencing inexplicable occurrences. Doors would slam shut by themselves, and eerie whispers echoed through the hallways, chilling them to the core. The villa's grand piano played haunting melodies in the middle of the night, even though no one was near it. Despite their growing unease, Mr. Sinclair brushed off their concerns, attributing the odd happenings to the villa's old age. Lisa's curiosity got the better of her, leading her to investigate further. She stumbled upon a hidden room in the villa's basement, filled with an unsettling array of photographs, personal belongings, and diaries of past guests. Shockingly, the entries revealed that Mr. Sinclair had an obsession with his guests, watching their every move and feeding off their terror. Realizing the sinister truth, Mark and Lisa knew they had to leave. But Mr. Sinclair wasn't about to let them escape that easily. He revealed his true nature, a malevolent entity that gained power from the fear and suffering of his guests. Trapped in the villa, they had to confront an arranged superhost in a battle for their lives. With each passing moment, the villa transformed into a nightmarish labyrinth designed to torment them. In a heart-pounding twist, they discovered that Mr. Sinclair was the ghost of a man who died in the villa years ago, consumed by his dark obsession with those who stayed in his home. In a desperate bid to survive, Mark and Lisa devised a plan to turn Mr. Sinclair's own malevolence against him. With great difficulty, they managed to break free from the cursed villa just as the malevolent entity was consumed by its own darkness. As they fled the villa, Mark and Lisa vowed never to use Airbnb again. The horror of encountering a sinister superhost had scarred them forever, a nightmare they could never forget. Story 3: The Vanishing Hostel. The Airbnb hostel seemed like the perfect stopover, but the inexplicable disappearances of its guests made it a chilling enigma waiting to be unraveled, concealing a haunting secret that would defy reason and send shivers down your spine. Amy, a solo traveler with an adventurous spirit, was thrilled to find an affordable Airbnb hostel in the heart of a bustling city. Upon arrival, she was warmly welcomed by the host, Mr. Jenkins, who appeared amiable yet slightly distant. The hostel was an old building with a rich history, adding to its charm and allure. As night fell, an eerie ambiance settled over the hostel. Amy noticed peculiar things happening around her. Faint cries in the corridors and fleeting shadows darting past her peripheral vision. Her roommates, too, seemed strangely withdrawn and anxious, avoiding eye contact and conversation. When she inquired, they only gave evasive answers, further fueling her curiosity. Determined to uncover the truth, Amy began to explore the hostel's past. She stumbled upon old newspaper clippings that revealed a haunting history of unexplained disappearances that plagued the hostel for decades. Whispers of an entity dwelling within its walls, abducting unsuspecting guests, sent shivers down her spine. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, Amy sensed an ominous presence lurking in the shadows. In a chilling twist, she discovered that Mr. Jenkins was the malevolent entity feeding off the fear and souls of the hostel's guests. The welcoming facade was merely a ruse to lure in victims, adding an unsettling layer to the mystery. Amy realized she had to act fast before she became the entity's next meal. Armed with knowledge from her research, she attempted to break the curse and free the trapped souls. But Mr. Jenkins wasn't going to let his prey escape so easily. In a pulse-pounding climax, Amy confronted Mr. Jenkins in a terrifying showdown. The hostel transformed into a nightmarish maze, each corridor leading to a different dimension. Trapped in a surreal nightmare, Amy fought for her life and the souls of the trapped guests. In a shocking revelation, Amy discovered that Mr. Jenkins had once been a victim himself, ensnared by the hostel's malevolence. He had made a pact with the entity to become its host in exchange for power and freedom. Summoning all her courage, Amy managed to break the curse banishing the malevolent entity from the hostel forever. However, the nightmarish experience left her traumatized. As she left the now vanishing hostel, she knew that some horrors were best left undisturbed. The chilling memory of the vanishing hostel and its malevolent host would stay with her for the rest of her life. Back in the safety of her home, Amy couldn't shake off the feeling that she was being watched. The events at the hostel had left an indelible mark on her psyche, and the nightmares continued to haunt her every night. She became obsessed with researching the dark history of the hostel and its former host, Mr. Jenkins. During her research, she stumbled upon an ancient tome that held the secrets of the malevolent entity that once possessed Mr. Jenkins. According to the ancient texts, the entity was a dark spirit known as the Soul Collector, condemned to roam the mortal realm, preying on the souls of the living. The tome revealed that the Soul Collector thrived on fear and despair, using its victims' darkest emotions to gain power and dominance. As Amy delved deeper into the mystic texts, she discovered that there was a way to defeat the Soul Collector once and for all. However, it involved an arduous and dangerous ritual that required courage, sacrifice, and unwavering determination. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Amy knew that she had to confront the malevolent entity again and put an end to its reign of terror. Returning to the city, Amy sought out the help of a local expert in ancient mysticism and paranormal entities. With the expert's guidance, she prepared for the ritual that would trap the Soul Collector and prevent it from ever haunting again. The process was fraught with peril, as the Soul Collector fought back with all its malevolent might, trying to break free from the bindings that held it captive. In the climactic battle, Amy faced her deepest fears and tapped into a wellspring of inner strength she didn't know she possessed. As the ritual reached its crescendo, the Soul Collector's malevolence was sealed away in an ancient artifact, ensuring its eternal imprisonment. Exhausted but victorious, Amy emerged from the ritual site with a newfound sense of purpose and closure. The nightmare that began at the vanishing hostel had come to an end, and she had successfully put an end to the malevolent entity's reign of terror. As she reflected on her harrowing experience, Amy couldn't help but think about all the other Airbnb guests who might unknowingly fall victim to malevolent entities like the Soul Collector. Determined to prevent further tragedies, she decided to embark on a mission to uncover and cleanse other haunted properties, protecting unsuspecting travelers from the horrors that awaited them. Amy's journey as a paranormal investigator and protector of lost souls had just begun, and with each new case, she would face unimaginable horrors, but she would never back down. The vanishing hostel had changed her life forever, leading her down a path of darkness and bravery, where she would stand as a beacon of light against the malevolent forces that lurked in the shadows. In the end, Amy's resilience and courage would be her greatest weapons in this haunting battle between the living and the supernatural, proving that even in the face of unimaginable horror, hope could prevail and darkness could be banished into the depths of oblivion.